Okay, back with another SEO episode. I'm doing both here. Jeremy, you came in first, and Ben, I'm going to do you as well, my man. I want Ben to come back. I've actually seen your SEO. We've crossed paths a few times, so I'd like to see you get back in the space, man. But today we are doing Jeremy Olsher from Florida. I already did a little bit of diving in here, but let's jump into the website. floridasearch.com, Sierra site, popular. So main page, we're hitting the keyword. I kind of like it. Popular searches in South Florida. Only thing I'm thinking is maybe you're doubling up the same keywords, so change it a little bit. I will dive in. You did hit some niche keywords that you're ranking for that I might even lean in on your main site on to try and get that going more. Variants of that. We'll dive into that a bit deeper, but good standard site looking like you're blogging a decent amount as well. And that's actually where that content's coming from. That's doing well. Overall, the site looks clean, looks good. Okay, so a few things I'm going to go through. Just there's some stuff that's going to be basic for some, that's going to be a bit of review or whatever. A few good things. One good thing I'll just start off with, on the main page. If you guys have done your main page up, it looks really clean, gives you the feel of where you want to go, but a very good page load speed, and your images are optimized. So if you're looking at it, I looked at his images here, they were 12 kilobytes for the logo, a couple hundred for the some of these images in here. Don't get caught up in putting a big high quality image in there thinking that it's going to do great for visitors, because someone on mobile with a slow connection might not be able to even load your site. Google recognizes that and will punish you for it. So you got to find that balance of good look along with spend a boatload of time getting that camera going, so I may as well make sure it's on. Okay, so looking deeper into this here on your website, let's take a look at a few pages. So this is a big keyword that I'll probably bounce back to after. This is a big thing. If you are serious, if you want to do SEO, you want to start doing more unique content, making it really if anything is from Sierra that originally was on this site, that means you and 1,000 other people have parts of these words in there. So change them out, and then add if you're making the page there, especially now with the tools we have to create content, getting something in there that's going to help you just stand out a bit more on this page. And then if you're structured well, that's great. So support all that structure, right? You've got the Jupiter condo real estate. If that's the keyword you're wanting to attack, again, I'm going to mention this so many times. Someone call Sierra, flag this. It's all over the place. Everyone's ranked, putting these H2, have a question or want a free market report. How many sites now? Free market. It's not showing up there. It's something in the code. It's got to be. It's too many times now. I've seen it. If enough of us complain, then, But look, you built out the sidebars for Jupiter on here, which is great. So I'd say I've said this in the past. It's focus then now on putting in the better content to serve these pages, right? Especially if there's niche ones where you see, good opportunity in your market space where you're hey, this might, have good keyword volume, right? This page here, it looks like you've done a decent amount on, so we'll take a look at that one after and just see how it's going. This I want to mention to everyone in general. This is the big struggle, right? So if this is why when people go why do you have, sorry, my hair looks awful in this. Why do you have, a Rue site? Why do you have a Sync site? Why do you have a Real Geek site? Why do you have a Sierra site? All these different platforms. Because I want to try different things, and some things will literally punish the other things, right? So for example, if I'm running a high amount of PPC onto one site, and I want to capture and force register, that is going to create a lot of bounce, and that's just going to make Google wonder what's going on that site. Don't necessarily want to do that, right? I kind of want to keep that into its own space. If I'm doing very intentional SEO work, I want to be hey, what is my return on that going to be? What is my effort's going to be? How do I measure that? If I'm mixing that with a lot of PPC, it's hard to sometimes measure that and see the results. if it's, working against you kind of thing, right? So that's, something you got to consider is if you do want to do SEO, do you want to have an SEO site and then a PPC site? And maybe it's good metrics getting the traffic there, but I do think, especially with the forced reg, that dynamic, I think like in real estate, it's unique to it that like you will have a higher bounce rate. And I don't think Google is just okay with it. If you're building out new pages or if you're building out pages, like, I think you went pretty deep on some of those pages there. I'd say like get the basic ones up too, like get these ones redone. Not saying you plagiarize, but like when you check a plagiarism detector on there, a bunch of that content seems like it might be generic. I went on to this one here flagged a lot, the sellers, and it'll show you like this one here, this site, similar words. I think this was, so we got showing your home, just a side by side, right? Your page, their page. This is probably like the Sierra launch out. You can see though, they went and actually did a bit more. Oh no, I think this is actually all the same. Yeah. So like the thing about it like this is like, and is this what you want? That's the other part too that I think is really tough with these sites when they launch. You've got so much on the go. You're building out the PPC campaign. You're building out whatever it is. You're doing all these other things. You're getting agents loaded into it. You're teaching agents on it. You're, possibly have your ISAs. Like it's a full-time job to train your ISAs, do all that stuff. This is very easy to forget, but like, is this what you want? Right. And I don't know if I want that messaging with my clients. I bet this is on my site too. Shame on me, right? But like, I don't know if I want that on there, that 9-minute drill, whatever that is, right? Like, depending on what site you have, but like, what kind of clients you're trying to attract, but like that could put someone off pretty quickly. And then, that may not be what you want, right? If, especially, in a Florida market, if you're trying to tailor like some of the niche ones you've hit, the most expensive that, if you're trying to tailor to a specific type of buyer, I want to write something that's going to really tailor to that person, so that they sit there and read about your experience, sit and land on this page, like, understand it, throw a video on there. That's going to do way more, not only for conversion and growing your business, but for SEO as well. This is hurting you, right? This is a nothing page that's going to hurt you. Not going to rank for it. It's taking away juice from your main site. This is like a page that's linked everywhere all the time. And I know it's like easy to say because like I'm guilty of it as well, right? Like I've got tons of pages that are like that, but everyone watching, if you're big on SEO, that's where I'm going like to start a bit, right? Is looking at that. So let's talk about some good stuff going on though. The most expensive neighborhoods. So this one here, if I look up this overview of rich neighborhoods near me, you were landing. You're not landing there. Maybe that was just a keyword I'd come off of. Let's take a look at what you are. Sorry. Let's take a look at what you are ranking for on here. So this is a blog. If people aren't aware, this was a blog titled Most Expensive Neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale. And then we go, you got so that's your big piece right there. Intro, goes through some communities, adds an image, call to action, love it. This is big. I bet you this is why it ranks well, is because like you've got interlinking within your site. I'm not a huge fan of interlinking personally onto listings pages. I create like an actual page for this. Like I'm sure you actually have that page. Same thing here. Like you're linking to a dynamic search page. I don't know, maybe that's why this is ranking well, but because it's ranking to content that's dynamic on there. But I, wouldn't, if I have this page, I'd probably myself be linking it to a static page where the listings are there, plus information about that, where I can drop a video about like Coral Ridge. If I've done a listing there, for example, I want that listing video on there demonstrating that, so that like people go, oh, this guy's listed in here. He knows this area. He knows what it takes to do these types of properties at this price point, right? And I mean, like, you know, I hit the end record button of all the things to hit, so I jump back to where we're at here. But one thing to note, I was trying to hit this one, you know, for those watching, is like, this isn't a crazy, like, in-depth blog, but this is a blog now that he's ranking for. And if we go back right here, no, that's bad. Right here, you know, what is the position he's ranking for? Rich neighborhoods, Fort Lauderdale, nicest neighborhoods. And now, like, I might want to piggyback on this and see, like, how can I, you know, look at this traffic in here. And this is where I might, you know, like, you do rank well for one keyword, but do you want to try and maybe make this, like, you know, richest neighborhoods in Miami? Can you tap into some of these other keywords here that would then pump in a bit more traffic and jump in your position higher on there, right? So what other content from here can you add into that blog that might make it a bit more, you know, deeper, whatever, unlock a few more of those keywords and drive more traffic that way. And then from that, what I'm also looking at is, what do we got here? Most expensive neighborhoods, I think. Yeah, look, nicest neighborhoods in Florida, Fort Lauderdale. Like, I mean, some of these are low, like, they're not crazy volume, but the intent is really high on these searches, I'd say. So, like, I'd still try and maybe see, like, some of these and be like, you know, how can I tap into some of these? And then the big part is, how do I rank for some of these, like you are ranking for this one, right? And so when I jump over here, and I'm looking at, when I was looking at, like, rich neighborhoods near me, for example, this is where you might actually try and build some of your backlinks to a blog like that. And so, you know, look at some of these blogs. First one I looked at was this one, The Family Handyman. And I might just message Alexa Erickson, who runs this site, which, you know, no commentary on anything on this, just saying this. This is a site that's got prominence in this keyword, right? Rich neighborhoods near me. It's got the word Florida, you know. I might try and reach out to this blog. They're saying, you know, they're linking to Zillow. Maybe you give them a nicer picture than this one and then a suggestion on it, right? Because I don't think this is a very high-end article itself, you know, just based on the content reading it. So I'm jumping everywhere there. So when I'm doing that, though, but I'm looking at this one, it's ranked 6th. And why is that one ranked 6th? Because it's got a bunch of backlinks to it. I don't know what's backlinking to it, which, you know, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole there. But, like, there's a lot of, you know, Garrett's Realty, actually, I think we've looked at before. That name looks familiar. Where is that? No. This is a Ruse site, though. But, you know, hitting that luxury keyword there. This is someone, you know, if you can reach out to and say, you know, see if they're like, you want to link across. This person does a lot of SEO work, it looks like. So, you know, they may be interested in that as well. But he's got no backlinks even on that, and he's still ranking on that keyword, right? So very interesting. Yeah, I'd say, like, this is where you guys, like, when you're looking at, like, how do I grow something, identify that keyword, look through opportunities in here. There's honestly some really good ones in here where you're just like, you know, these are all articles that are probably places where you can get placement in them by reaching out directly and other various means. So, you know, if there's a way for you to get into these articles, that'll really help you. It's getting my wheels spinning even. That'll help you get your SEO going there on that keyword. Just a quick look. Let's look at your backlink profile here. Show best links. See what we're working with. We got your Zillows. These are great. These ones. more ones like that where you've got that. I said that in our previous blogs, videos here. The more you can get the local ones, regardless of whatever, but like they're linking back to you. Luxury condos, like great anchor word to be going in there. House in the hills. Yeah, that's a good blog. There's a good one, right? That's a good one to really think about too when you're working with, like think about like people who work in the short-term rental space, everybody, and like what they're writing about is real estate. So how can you get into their articles, their placements, and say, hey, I know you're writing about real estate. I know you're writing about this. Can I tap into that market with you? Can I help your article on this? Can we share? Because you're not competing against each other. You're complementing each other, right? For those paying close enough attention, yes, I'm wearing something different, and it is a completely time of day. If you're a real estate team lead, you'll know the 4 staff meetings, 4 looms, 1 team lunch, an interview for a new agent to join the team, and a busy morning have now led me into the afternoon, 2 days later since when I said I would originally record this. So here we are, still doing it though. But this is my 3rd interruption on this one. Digging back into your backlinks here. I noticed this one's missing real trends. That was a good one. If you can get that back in there, it looks like they had an image on there. That's a good do follow link you used to have. Anyone else watching this, take note. Like these are some profiles that are probably very easy for a US agent to have. And so it's like, these are, when you're doing backlink research on other people, you want to look at these and say like, yeah, is this worth it for me to get on here, put this on there, get my listing on that account or whatever. Also, my mic was set to the camera mic. I've had so many issues, but I am upping the quality here. You can see a little bit better. So, apologies. It literally was pulling the camera's mic. So I think the first half of this video probably sucks audio wise. We'll see. Hopefully my editor can clean that up for us, but we'll see. Anyways, back into your backlinks here. Let's not focus as much on yours, but let's take a maybe look at some of your competitors. So pause for 1 second. Okay, so a couple things before, just to show you what I'm doing here. The one way I like to work backwards is to like, who am I competing against and for what? What's our intent? Let's look at a few keywords before I jumped into the top 10 ones that you're competing with. I just looked at a couple other that I think you have space for. Like this one, you're in there in the mix. So, and your site seems to gear towards that term a bit. So I would try and get some backlinks building into like terms like this for you. This one though is tough because you're going to be competing against like your own company, right? Like you're competing against major people in there, right? But it doesn't mean that you can't fall in there, right? Or that there isn't space for it. That's where I struggle with the like, it's great to get a 1.8 thousand traffic, but if you can unlock some of the keywords like you have unlocked where it's maybe smaller, but there's more potential there, that's something for you. I did notice this one you're ranking for, Airbnb, Fort Lauderdale. You're not too high up, but this one has a lot of traffic on there. And so like, this is where then I would go to someone like this and look at what they're doing. And if you can find like a more local site or a site that isn't crazy, not like an Expedia site, you can maybe potentially reach out and do what I was talking about, like getting some backlinks, where you're referring these people. If you're like, hey, you're looking for a short-term rental, drop their link in there. But then if they're on their pages referring you, or you're just making a resource available, like one SEO move I think that a lot of people are underutilizing is create a resource for these people and a reason for them to backlink to you and then go from there. And so if you think about like that, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but like you create a resource for Airbnb people, Airbnb sites, Airbnb hosts, and say, hey, this is where they can find it. They just got to go to this link and download it, something like that maybe. Or you make it available, but it's on your website, then they're all backlinking to that link, to that guide, right? And they're using your work, your branding, your messaging to deliver a message to help their business, their cause, right? So that's one strategy if I'm you, especially with anywhere that's got a lot of Airbnbs, because you've got a dynamic mix of people in the space to kind of go after. What else we got here? GL Homes. Let me just look at this one. Another good opportunity for you there. I don't think you were in the top 10 on this one again, but you were up there. Look, top 20, right?
So this might be one where, like, I think that's a cool way you're going after GL Homes. Anyone, I just looked it up, is a builder. It looks like a really big builder out there. Potential for backlinks as well for you to get in there. Like, look, this site's big, a lot of backlinks, a lot of stuff pointing to it. And they rank for a lot of different keywords. So, likely you can work with them a little bit and potentially, get some link juice going your way. But like, this is a term that I love people watching to go after other builders. Like, you're not trying to build off their trademark or anything, but what we're trying to do is show and demonstrate what they sell, their style of homes. So if you can do anything in your IDX feed where you're facilitating like new homes for sale by company XYZ, you're helping them sell their properties. You're helping bring prominence, their branding. Maybe you got to clear it, I don't know, depending on your laws or whatever. But as long as you're not representing that you are them in some way, they should be pretty good with that. And that's like a huge win on your website space, where if you can capture any of their audience in the efforts of trying to grow both, it's a win-win, right? Vero Beach Real Estate was another good one that you were up there in. I just kind of wanted to look at who the competitors were. Outside of so like our heavy hitters are there, and then you're getting like a really like exact match type place. But there are, like, this is where I see it so much, is like the top 10 you can hit on these big keywords. But you're got to be pretty, I think, custom local to that area, maybe have a site going for a while on there. So like, it's not low hanging fruit by any means. And then when we're looking at what you are in the top 10 for, this is where I'm jumping and looking at, hey, who's your competition in this? How can you, what are they doing? How do you compete for them? And these are like, they're not crazy volume, but they're, volume that I want. And like, when you look at this, like Lotus Boca Raton, it's 450 there. It's 150 here. 150 there. So we got three different search terms there, coming up to almost 1,000 volume, right? If I'm getting a fraction of that, I'm happy to take it, right? So if I'm going on that word, for example, let's take a look at what your competitors look like. So there you see, like, that builder is on there for that search term, beating out all those other guys, right? Probably tough to get on there, but I mean, if you can get anything in there, if you can offer something that might help people link back to you, like this community map type thing, but your own version of it or something, resources, like, this site's a little busy, I think there's space on a Sierra site to put it more together. And, people don't necessarily need all of this, right? You might be able to deliver a more concise page than that. I'd say there's opportunity for that. And then we got our big guys here, Lotus Edge, new construction. That's probably, look at that. That's a net or a strategy other people should be considering, right? You get a exact match domain to something you're looking for, like new construction in this community, and then you just build a page out on it, right? What type of page is this? Matt Hornaday, good on you, brother. This is good stuff. Hornaday Group, yeah. I don't know what. I'm going to check one thing, and I will say this too. I go on record saying this: exact match domains matter, right? Look, tell me that doesn't matter. Why is this site that is, Matt launched this, it looks like early this year, maybe it came out a little bit, but like, it's a new site. And boom, Matt is sitting on 1,000+ traffic for an intentional keyword. Do you want that? I want that, right? Like, would I build out 20 sites like that if I knew I could get 20,000 traffic of intentional people going on there? Absolutely. And did he do it with a ton of backlinks and whatnot? Let's see. What has he got? Whoops. Let's see what these are. So these are all pretty new backlinks. The domain rating on these is pretty interesting. But one thing you can look at is page traffic, and they don't got a lot of that. on these. Domain traffic. Let's see. So a edu domain, you know, let me just say they're hard to get. So, a brand new site getting that. I'm not accusing Matt of anything, right? I don't know how he did this, if he built these links or what, but I would say if I were a, outside person looking in and I'm being blunt, this doesn't look like quality backlink building. This looks like garbage backlink building. Not garbage. That's rude. This looks like maybe you paid someone who said they were going to do a lot of backlinks for you and did a lot of work, but it's not great stuff, right? But it's happening. Like this year, this is a funny one. This is an edu site, right? And so, this is where it's like you're really running in a gray area, right? Because this helps build your site up, but like, could it get penalized? Probably. Long term, do I want to do this? No, like for my main sites, but like, look, this guy just did this. He's getting 1,000, on this. If this runs for 1 year and he gets this site for a year with this type of traffic on these keywords, is it worth it? That's right. That's really the question. And like, where his position is on some of these keywords matters, and it could go up, right? He could be going up on that, right? So, I I'm I'm not I'm a little hesitant on it myself to do it like that in this space, right? But it's working. So that's one thing to consider, right? I'm definitely not saying to go out and build backlinks like this. This is not a good way to build backlinks or to grow SEO. But this is a demonstration, I guess, clear and clear of how someone could do bad backlink building successfully and grow a site to where you need it to be, which is generating you traffic, right? So, yeah, very interesting. I almost feel guilty going through some of this because I'm not trying to make him seem like he's doing bad work per se, but it is clear that like that site is ranking more so for those backlink purposes. And look, 320 backlinks. Look, the domain rating, not great, right? And actually, look at this too. Let's see, what are the backlink anchors? Lotus Edge, Boca Raton, Lotus Edge, Boca Raton, Lotus Edge, Boca Raton, Lotus Edge, Boca Raton. You notice it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over. Now, you could, again, potentially face some, there's variants of it, right? But you could potentially face some backlink, like some penalization, manual like penalty from Google. If someone from Google saw this, went through it, thought that this was intentional, that this was all, you could potentially get penalized, but if you've got a site up, that's good too. Like because how do they know that a competitor didn't put this together? You've got a site up, you got content on it, you're delivering. I mean, people are probably sitting on this site and looking it over because it makes sense. It's got the products on there. I'd be interested to know what he built this on. If it was like a WordPress site or what, I'm not going to be able to do that. This is one way to do it. You could sometimes just look at, you view page source, take a look at what's in there, lead connector. That's just maybe a software in there. Anyways, I won't go too deep on that, but potentially I could look through this code here. And that actually might be the platform, this lead connector. And then it just, you could see what platform they're using. That's one thing where, it's like, if you're going to build out sites, you might go like, I want to build out sites. How do I do it? Well, look at what other guys in your area are doing. And if you can emulate something like that, like that's, there's a little bit of a blueprint to maybe helping support. So like, I don't know if this is the correct term for it, but like, it's like, it's a parasite. Like you've got a site that's out there working, doing something for you, serving your other bigger sites, as well. And sorry, so if you guys see this ever, if someone's like, hey, I can get backlinks on this, like that's, just, you're not going to get a great backlink out of that, right? You're getting, sorry. And I just wanted to see, like we can usually see here. Again, view page source. Just trying to see if I can find where this was backlinked in here. I mean, Lotus. So look, this is how this link was built for this. A comment was added with the name Lotus Edge Boca Raton onto this site, right? So just in theory, if I went to this right now, I could type in a comment and it would be, I love finding homes for sale in Florida. And my name is, Florida Homes for Sale, whatever the email is. My web address would then be your website. And then I publicly comment on that. Now that would populate there. Or you see how some people, like, I think you could probably insert code here. So if I put it into HTML, like just copied it even like this, I might be able to do it. So maybe it's code based. I don't know. They're finding a way to inject code in there regardless, or they're just pumping it in there. One way or another, though, this is just people, I don't want to say abusing SEO, but it's like, that's what Google is looking for, though, right? And, if you're ever wondering, like, hey, is a site good for backlinks, like domain rating, tons of backlinks, keywords, but shit traffic. It's just showing like the site probably doesn't have a lot going on for it. And it's gaming some system somewhere to, rank and make it look like it's ranking, right? Thing I want to cover, this one here, cost of living, most expensive. Been kind of referring to this. So we can see here, if we pull this up on Ahrefs, this link specifically has no backlinks, but it's ranking for 64 keywords, and you're position 1 on a few, well, just maybe 1, but still top 10. Rich neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale. I'd kind of shown like a few keywords earlier, but like I might try and to address like some of these, right? Best neighborhoods. So like, is your article in here addressing that at all? Most expensive, right? Maybe you link on here the best neighborhoods or something like that. But how do you kind of start doubling up this traffic and tapping into that a little bit? Or do you write a blog specifically for that one? I try and get as much as I can where you can, jump in these keywords and expand on your article potentially. Cause like this is good volume, or this is good to have as number one, but like, can you 10x your traffic, or can you open up a bunch of these by, having your answers in there, right? Like use this as a guide. Is Fort Lauderdale expensive? Answer that in your blog. You know, that will then drive that traffic there, right? If someone's Googling that, they might get that and they're going to read some other stuff in there. The best neighborhoods in there, right? So those are terms that you can land for that potentially other people aren't going to be like, you're not seeing as much of like your Zillows landing on those ones, right? Like, look at this. Best neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale. Traffic potential's there. And it's a Reddit site. It's pods.com, big site, but like these aren't real estate. These aren't your name, not all you're not seeing realtor.ca, Zillow, etc. So I'm looking at this one going, this is an opportunity in my market. How do I address that? Look, I mean, this is stupid, but I would do this too. Like make a page, make a blog about this. Another one we just uncovered. That's a good one just to have, right? Like these guys did it. Now, this is a resource where if you created the same resource and then did a blog talking about what are the best, what are the area codes for this county or whatever, and then included that in there, you might untap some of that, right? And then the traffic, like it's a big thing, right? As soon as you start generating more traffic to your site, you will also open up more opportunities from other people wanting to work with your site, creating content for it, linking to you. Your site is more valuable. So when you are approaching like an Airbnb host with a good blog that's crushing it, you're not going up with your hat in your hand saying like, please, can we exchange links? You're going, hey, look, I run this site. I have a big blog. I have a big volume. I have big traffic. I have a ton of people coming through here. Look at like some of these keywords that people are looking up. This is how this will benefit you. So let's work together, right? That's negotiating, right? That's a deal, right? You want to do that kind of stuff. So my advice, is kind of try and search for this type of stuff too. That's going to help that, build on those articles, lean into that a little bit. I think you're on a good pace. And now it's like I always say, like, especially in the US, like there's a lot of tough words that you're going to have to go up against and fight against that are like competitors that. So it's like, look for the niche stuff like this that still has volume, that still has purpose, intent, that is going to be there for you. Right. And like realistic to get at. And this right here. This is who I want to reach out to maybe do, they're doing the top 5 neighborhoods. So they might want to link to you. And in this article, they're going to link to you on one of these terms. Say Coral Ridge is the one you want to go after, right? So they link Coral Ridge and Fort Lauderdale, right, to your site. And in turn, you're going to link on a moving article you write about moving in this and something like that, the moving checklist, right? So right there, that's it right there. You have they have a checklist. Well, if you want to leverage their checklist, put it in one of your blogs, right? So you tell them that they're doing that. Now you guys are sharing your guys' expertise, and you're getting a backlink potentially from these guys that, let's see, 51 domain rating, right? And like, look, these guys might be even doing some sketchy SEO regardless, who knows? But this is where I'm trying to grow my presence and branding in that. And that's how you're going to be able to grow these niche keywords. That's where I'd start, man. That's what, like, you've already got a good basis. And you've already got some good stuff going. So anyone else watching this, again, I know some of it's repetitive. If you're sitting with me for 45 minutes on some of these or longer, I'm not able to pull out the most unique content, but I think it's unique to each person in some way. But like, don't worry about the 10,000, 20,000 keyword stuff. If you're a single agent, you're running a small team, think about it like this. How do I get 5,000 people to my site? What is that conversion? Let's say it's like, you don't have forced reg on, but you're able to generate a few reach outs per month. That's enough for you to get going. So how do you make that? Like, what are the ones to start? And I would say, like, get the sites cleaned up, get all those things cleaned up. This looks like another good opportunity on there to get backlinks, some of these. But get your sites cleaned up, get everything going, and then build out the content on the pages that you're already doing well on. The niche stuff, don't worry too much about the ones that are like just Fort Lauderdale is going to be very hard for you to rank for. But best family neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale, a lot easier to rank for, and they may not be it may not have the best search volume, right? But if you can capture that volume of people and that audience, the intent on it can be way higher, right? Tons of people, you could have 1,000 searches in it for a community name, and that community name could be 1,000 purposes for that reason. But I'm not looking for, the safest neighborhood in Fort Lauderdale to raise a family. I'm not looking for that if I don't have intent to buy there or rent there or something there, right? So, that is a very high intent search. That's what you should be aiming for. And sorry, this is just this document, that has 17 backlinks. So these guys actually, this is going to be a big site. They're going to have a lot of keywords, backlinks, right? And sorry, I totally, that is a new checklist thing. So I'm not trying to slander them there. Look, you can see these guys are all over. I don't know what they'd be open to in terms of like backlinking SEO work, but I'd reach out to them. I mean, there's value for you there. There's value for them. And they want to rank for all these keywords. They've got all these pages for that. So if there's a way for them to help rank the word moving checklist while helping you rank for your keyword, that's the goal. That's the target. That's SEO. And this right here is great. Like, do more of this, right? Like, the more you can pull out of your blogs that are unique pieces of content that people are going to, I love that. Golf cart laws may not be a high search volume, may not be, something that like a lot of people are going to be looking up in terms of like related to real estate, but is that a cool search term? And then if people start building, rapport and familiarity with your site, that's what you're looking for, right? Cool. Anything, any feedback, anything like that, send it my way. Actually, sorry, final one I wanted to look at was this one here, and I just wanted to see if you were ranking on that one and what your competitors were. So no competitor laws, or no competitors, competitor laws. What was it? Jupiter, Florida, in-law suites. I like it because it's such a unique, and it's not pulling up anything. What I would try and do, mother-in-law suite, Jupiter suites. Like, it's not always going to be glitz and glamour. Try and do a little keyword research on that. Find out what that, like, I love the niche of that kind of stuff. And I think the more of that you can have, the better. And then from there, I would try and say, like, okay, what is the difficulty on that one is going to be so low, maybe non-existent. So if, that's like if that's part of it, let's see what that brings up. People are searching for it, right? So, yeah. I would say, like, your I like those types of pages, create more of those. And PPC, like Sync, Commissions Inc. is running. Compass is big, I guess, there, hey? But you can see, like, these here are searches that people are running. That's actually a little tip for you guys if you're ever on looking at company or commercial research in your marketplace. If you go to a Sync site, these are going to be search terms that these people are advertising for. So, like, they look at it like that there. These are keywords that you could consider doing, right? So homes for sale in that postal code, you can see they're paying to have that. Is that same site, right? North Palm Beach, whatever. Was that it? Search Palm Beach houses. Look, that's a different, that's a Sync site with a different site on that term, right? So just to give you, like, think about that there's multiple people searching for that term. And then let's see, keyword explorer. So, like, there's, I think, a good example where you can't necessarily trust this Ahrefs stuff, like the on there, because there's no real data on here saying this, right? This is saying this is not a search term, but, like, I'll tell you right now, Sync has a lot of data, and straight up, this is a search term that people are going to be doing. And not only that, you can see realtor.com's advertising for it. This waterfront site's advertising for it, and this company too. So and then you have your big players landing for it, right? Corcoran Group, all of them, right? So, like, that right there shows you, like, what I was searching on the golf cart term. Like, you may not find volume, you may not find purpose always when you're going through these, saying, like, hey, I should be writing for this, but always think of it in the mindset that, like, it doesn't have to necessarily line up. I don't want to run my business just based off of this. Data is great. These are tools, though, but your market. That's your advantage. You know your market. Boca Raton, whatever. I know Calgary. I know my market, and I know what I want to say to people that are going to be searching for it. I want to think locally. Like, if I'm in a community that is geared towards, like, if I'm in a downtown area in Calgary, I want to write content that appeals to people that are going to be living in downtown Calgary. I don't want my page to write the best schools in this downtown community, the best in this downtown community. And I'm not shooting a video saying, like, these are the right. Unless we're in, like, a more mature, I'm talking like a condo community, right? Like, where it's like our 17th Ave. I'm appealing to people who want that lifestyle, that, like, living near downtown, like the 17th Ave, the Red Mile, our stadium. That's where, like, people, I'm trying to cater our content to those people, right? So you have that advantage locally to do the same. Do your market research. These are pages I might actually create, seeing that people are doing that, covering postal codes. They're just pages that are content, potential, right? That like, you're going to keyword potential. But I say that with the don't just create pages to create pages. If you're creating pages, put good content on them. And it's like, for me, I've said this before, if you haven't watched this, and I believe in it fully, you're better off, I think, to try and rank 1 or 2 to 5 keywords that are 1,000 potential, and really work on those few pages and like get the links for them, work hard to get backlinks for them, for people to want to link to them and all that, than you are to, building out 800 postal codes and 800 area code pages and all these other pages. I've done that. They just don't rank well. And like, you don't know the traffic on a lot of those. So like, it's just like, that's a crapshoot. But if you're really intentional, I think there's a lot more power there. All right.